We don't have to talk about this. Hi guys, welcome back to Relatable Girl. My name is Kendra L. Saunders. If this is your first time on my channel, I am the author of the Alien Popstar series. I am the owner of Half Lucid Jewelry, and I am a professional allergy sufferer living in New York City. This is a special series about the show Mr. Robot, specifically about season 4 of Mr. Robot. So if you're just jumping in now and you haven't watched the videos before, they are in a playlist. Feel free to check that out. And of course, just be warned, there will be spoilers throughout this whole video. If you have not watched this season yet and you're planning to, keep that in mind. Don't say that I didn't warn you. I think this is probably a long enough intro though. This video is not gonna be super rambly, I hope. So let's just get our hoodies up and get started. At the beginning of this episode, Darlene makes a comment to Elliot along the lines of, "We don't have to talk." And then after that, for the rest of the episode, we don't have any direct spoken dialogue all the way until at the very end when we have a character say, "We need to talk." This framing technique I think was really interesting, and I had heard people already kind of talking about it before I actually got to see the episode. I think that the idea of doing this was fascinating, and I think at times it worked super well. At other times, I thought that it was a tiny bit gimmicky and a little unrealistic, to the point where it did at times sort of draw me out of the show. But all in all, I think it was a really interesting thing to do. I think doing it this late in the show was also quite an interesting choice. You know, we don't have that much time left before the end of the show, and to have almost an entire episode just be like silent like that, it's definitely an interesting choice. Here's the thing, Mr. Robot has never just gone down the same road as everybody else. The show has always been innovative and different and has always kept us guessing. So I do think making that choice was an interesting one. It was definitely a daring one. And for the most part, I think it worked. Again, at times, especially when, you know, we see like children on Christmas Day playing and they're not speaking, I found that a little hard to believe, to the point where it did kind of pull me out. But I think there were some beautiful moments that were executed so well around this gimmick. So I thought that was really interesting. So I don't have a ton to say about this episode because, you know, we didn't cover a ton of ground. We kind of followed along minute by minute with what was happening in the show. You know, it's Christmas Day. Elliot and Darlene have this plan. They are going to have to, you know, break into this place, and they've got all this like cool setup with like getting somebody's fingerprint and, you know, using that to get into secured vaults and all this stuff. And it's very heisty. And I thought that they did a great job building the tension with that. And for the most part, I think the violence thing worked pretty well during that whole part of the plot. The part of the episode that I personally found myself like the most invested in, though, to the point where I was like, I could not look away, was when Elliot makes the choice to like make a run for it and distract the cops that have shown up, and to let Darlene be able to get away. That entire chase scene was crazy. It felt like, it felt so real. You felt like you were with Elliot the whole time. I found myself feeling like, oh my God, it's kind of hard to breathe. It was so beautifully shot and so intense, and just, it did not stop. Every time you thought like he's going to get away from them, here they were right behind him, and you could just like feel the breathlessness. You could feel the exhaustion. I thought those scenes were absolutely just so well done. And you know, he runs into Central Park, and he's like just dashing through Central Park past tourists and like tripping over things and, you know, running into people and like falling. And at one point he's on like the ice where a bunch of people are ice skating, and he's like slipping and getting up and slipping and running across the ice. And it felt so real that I actually did kind of think many times, like, is Rami Malek okay? Especially at the moment where he got hit by the car. It just felt so real and so intense. So major props to them for that. I thought that was incredible. I thought that was one of the best chase scenes I've ever seen in anything, honestly. I thought it was just so good and so intense. You know, again, though, there wasn't a lot happening in the episode other than the heist and the chase. We had a few scenes with Dom kind of, you know, trying to have Christmas with her family, and the weird taxidermy lady, like, texting her and giving her things to do, which basically amounted to trying to find out what happened, you know, to the guy in the van from the episode before. And at the end, you know, her last assignment to Dom is to find Elliot and Darlene. It's going to be interesting seeing what they do with that. You know, she, I'm sure, never wants to see either of them again in her whole life. And she has very good reason to do what she's told. Her mom and her family and friends and her own life are very much in danger. And, you know, this is a woman who is at a desperation point, but also is being used like a puppet. It will be interesting to see what lengths she'll go to, you know, catch Darlene and Elliot just to get these people off her back. So that's going to be intense. I already can tell it's going to be intense. But again, there wasn't a ton to talk about in this episode just because, you know, we don't have dialogue. We don't have conversations and background very much. It's mostly just this really great heist scene and this incredible chase, which I thought was fun because they also like sort of dropped an Easter egg in there that the security guys are watching Die Hard because it's Christmas. And I thought that was cool, like little link in there, you know, watching Die Hard during a heist and then a chase scene. So yeah, anyway, this was very rambly, but not super long. So thank you so much if you've been watching this series. And again, if you haven't watched the videos before, they are in a playlist, so feel free to go check those out. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be doing a video for the rest of the episodes of Mr. Robot. And I have all kinds of other fun videos about like cool things that happen in New York City and my crazy allergies and, you know, all kinds of fun stuff. So go do that. Go subscribe. Subscribe now and enjoy tons of cool content. I'm also going to be giving away some free stuff soon, so you don't want to miss that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me in this little Mr. Robot Hoodies Up series. Please leave some comments about what you thought of the episode. Did you like the framing of the whole silent thing? Like, did you think it worked? Was there any moment in there where it didn't work to you? Like, I want to hear what you have to say about it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.